Do you believe in fate, destiny, providence, or do you believe that your future is something that you can control? Have you ever heard the phrase, the best way to predict your future is to create it? Optimistic, yes, but with how prominent failure is, how do you view your own life? Despite the hardships and unavoidable stumbles, how do you still continue to face life and be victorious? It may seem unattainable, but nothing is impossible. Failure is not permanent, and a great example will be the story of one of America's most loved presidents, Abraham Lincoln. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories that will keep it growing and inspire you to take action. February 12th, 1809. Abraham Lincoln was born in poverty. His family's only means of financial support came from his father, Thomas Lincoln. Thomas was a carpenter, but he had also doubled as a cobbler to make ends meet. However, this too was not enough. Due to this predicament, Abraham had to also enter the world of carpentry and cobblery. He had given up his childhood to fend for his family. Have you ever had to sacrifice something like that before? Having been given no opportunity to attend school, Abraham had to learn how to read and write from his mother, Nancy Lincoln. Oftentimes, he used a small bit of coal to jot down what he had learned, from numbers to alphabets. The boy was very discerning. He would also use walls and floors on his family's hut in the absence of paper. But he was determined to get out of his impoverished lifestyle. He continued on as if to say to the world, I want to change my future. And so he did. In the face of poverty, Abraham still wanted to do something about his future. So he worked hard day after day after day. Several years went by, and in 1816, Abraham and his family were forcefully evicted from their home. Abraham continued to work. 2 years later, his mother had passed away. Heartbroken, Abraham still continued to work. After years of seemingly endless effort, in 1831, Abraham was finally hired in the position as an accountant and was given a decent salary, unlike before. Abraham was able to save a decent amount of money, and finally he was given a chance to breathe for once, or so we thought. Instead of using the money for at least a small taste of the pleasure that he had missed in his early life, Abraham instead decided to start a business. Unfortunately, his savings were not enough, so Abraham had to ask his friends if he could borrow some money. He had managed to get money, and with it, establish a small general store. However, things didn't go quite as planned, and not long after, Abraham had to suffer a significant loss and went bankrupt. He spent the next 17 years repaying his debt to his friends. It was around this time Abraham Lincoln found his passion of becoming a lawyer. This passion was so greatly embedded in him that Abraham began to study law on his own. Through his own self-study, he had managed to become a well-liked public speaker. Everyone who had heard of Abraham's speeches were amazed by his great ability and began to insist that he should join the national elections. So he did. Abraham ran for a position in the state legislature of Illinois in 1832, but he lost. In the same year, Abraham was going to marry his sweetheart, but the wedding was never held because the love of his life had passed away unexpectedly. With so many failures coming left to right, Abraham was overwhelmed with brokenness and grief. He would often say to himself, how could I continue to go on? Why is this happening to me? He fell into a great depression and was put to bed rest because of his condition. It took him several months until he could recover. And when he did, Abraham once again sought a position in the state legislature in 1838. For a second time, he had lost. After 2 years in 1840, he ran as an elector, but he lost. For several more years, Abraham continued to run for several positions in the election, but lost. Congress, lost. Land officer, lost. Senate, lost. The man had lost so many times in life. He had no idea what it was to taste victory. And when all hope was lost, he set his aim for the highest elected position in this country. And in 1860, Abraham was elected not as an elector, not as part of the Senate, but as the highest position in this nation. He was elected as the 16th President of the United States of America. Given his passion against slavery, he knew he would make a difference as president. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He would unite this country during its most saddest history, and that is during the Civil War. Abraham himself had often come face to face to many pressuring and life-threatening situations, war, and an assassination attempt, to which ended his life. But his death did not erase the remarkable deeds that he had left on the nation. Abraham Lincoln became one of the well-liked and acclaimed presidents in American history. Despite all challenges, he continued to uphold his morals and beliefs until his last dying breath. Abraham adhered to the principles and standards he espoused, and truly we can say that after many failures, Abraham had won. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you're content with your failure. Abraham Lincoln. Have you ever failed in business? Have you ever lost a loved one? Have you ever become so unsure if you're ever going to be able to accomplish your goals and dreams? Are you constantly feeling hopeless of what's to come in the future? Before you lose hope, ask yourself, is there really nothing that I can do to change my life now? Do my past failures really embody who I am as a person? Failure is imminent, and at times they may seem impossible to run from. There may be also failures that just hit you nonstop, one after another. At this point, your goals might seem hard to reach, and the future might seem bleak. But honestly, ask yourself, what can I do to get out of it? Abraham could have quit many times. Abraham Lincoln failed over 15 times, but he chose not to let himself down. You must not let yourself down. You need to believe in yourself, even when you feel the world is against you. You are valuable. You have potential, and don't let anyone tell you differently. As Les Brown once said, someone's opinion of you doesn't make it your reality. It might take time and lots of trial and error, but no road is a dead end. As Lily Tomlin once said, the road to success is always under construction. Likewise, success is never the end. Failure is also not fatal. It is the determination to move forward that counts and leaves an even more lasting impact. The probability that we may fail and struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor, comment below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest update. Soon you will be on your way to feeling inspired.